So we were going to use a line from the movie The Birdcage to open this, and then we realized that even we didn't get the reference. Welcome back, everybody, to the next episode of Iron Curtain Grades Your Shit. This week we're taking a look at a video from one of our more faithful viewers. Sal Carmack has recommended this one, and we're calling it The Birdcage. Davian, you went ahead and watched the full video in detail and built this. Why don't you walk us through what's going on?
All right, so what's going on is that we are up in this protected birdcage that has a standard tunnel entrance, whatever it's over there.
A little platform there.
Do that.
Drops a tube, yep.
Yep. So the zombies have 4 ways to come in, one from each direction.
Okay, yeah.
And when they come in, there's spikes all around the area we have, and they have stairs to try and come up and get us.
Okay.
But in the way of those stairs are a bunch of hatches that have been left open. So the theory is that no matter which way they go, the zombies will catch themselves on the doors, and we'll just have clean headshots on them. Yeah.
Okay, I see. So it's a pretty it's a point blank build, but the idea is that there's so much of this crap here that they're just gonna get hung up, and then we just get clean, easy shots. That makes sense. Okay, so for supplies needed, this looks like a pretty basic footprint. Now we have upgraded his build from, it was, I believe, cobblestone off the bat, right?
Yeah, his was cobblestone and wooden spikes, and actually, I'm not sure if they were wooden spikes or steel spikes, but
a little downgraded version to this, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you thinking for supplies needed? How much did you actually put into this, all things considered?
From some of this stuff, probably around a B.
I can kind of see that.
Not that much cement. It's a fair amount of iron, but no more than we used on anything else.
Yeah, true enough. Build difficulty, how long did this take you to put together?
Less than an hour.
Yeah, this is pretty straightforward. I don't see any major gimmicks here. The hardest thing difficulty-wise is probably, digging out the escape hatch, but otherwise it's just building stairs and dropping hatches. I feel like that's probably a B, given all things considered, just because of the size and scope.
Yeah, it could have been more if I'd put effort into the escape tunnel, but I didn't because I was lazy and didn't feel like it.
Yeah, it's not like a one-wide killing horde or anything. It's a little more involved than that, but not too difficult, especially for anybody who's already built a base or two in their time. All right, Horde Knight's coming up. Let's see how she does. Curious to see what kind of work we get out of explosives on this. Now, we've done the quad pillars here supporting the cage itself, but how much traffic is going to come in as the hole, in range of the hole that kind of results out of that remains to be seen.
Wow, my frames dropped real hard.
We're going to take spit.
It's like going to beat on that door
all night.
Ooh.
Well, let's let them. How are they doing on this hatch mechanic here? Are these things actually hanging them up, or are they just beating on the outer walls?
Looks like they're just beating on the outer walls.
This one came in eventually.
Yeah, they make their way in.
It's weird.
Just like dueling the goat.
I'm invited in, thank you.
So you're like a vampire.
No, because I don't only. It's better when I am.
Wouldn't that make him a chupacabra?
That's a goat.
I don't think that's what they mean when they say that it eats goats. Yeah, I don't know, this hatch thing, they just kind of, they sort of ricochet off of them. It's weird. Give them a second over by this corner on me. I want to see what the hell they're doing here, because it seems like they're more interested in beating up this outer door than anything. And then they hit that first hatch and then they run to the spikes. So I don't know what's going to happen when that spike runs out. They hit that. They're not trying to swing at those hatches or jump around them. They're going back to the door as soon as the hatch stops them.
Yeah, there's a biker over here who's just at the bottom of the staircase beating on the wall.
Yeah, that seems to be all they're doing.
Try and be out on the very edge of this and not in the middle.
Okay.
Well, they've already taken one blocked out on the corner over here.
Yeah, all they're doing over here, and I'm hugging the edge, and they're really way more interested in the door, and the ones that pass the door, they run straight into the spikes and die, but I'm worried about what's going to happen to that mechanic once the spikes aren't there anymore.
Wonder if they changed the way they interact with hatches.
Maybe. There's been so much patching lately, God knows.
When was his video put up?
Don't know.
I wonder if it was put up pre-door patch.
Possibly.
Or at least designed prior to that, maybe? I don't know. So for 19.3, I'm not sure that this idea works anymore because they really are... They hit these patches. Now that guy jumped the one hatch and he's standing between two of them now, and then he's frustrated and he just starts beating on the outer wall.
I wonder if it's one of those things that because there are enough of us and we're spread out.
Everybody come stand on my corner then. Let's test this.
Even duel.
Pile of them here in the spikes that are... See, they're going to take these spikes out and then they're going to start hacking on this center pillar. I don't know if they see a path to us right now, is my question. The way they're behaving, it's like they don't see this whole hatch mechanic thing. Like, they don't see a route to us at the moment, so they're trying to take this whole structure down. And they're slowly wearing down these spikes in the middle because the pillar here in the center is their path of least resistance.
Yeah.
It's like the mechanic for, you know, the first base that we did, the first your shit. It's, you know, they were supposed to try and run up the walls and fail miserably, and all they wound up doing was just beating on them.
Having watched his video, which is of course linked in the description, I didn't go through the whole thing. I left that to Davian since he was going to build it, but I probably watched a good chunk of it, and this was not the pathing behavior that we were seeing from him.
Yeah.
Something has changed.
And I'm inclined to think that this is a result of something recent in their patching because of the way that they've altered now. This is not what we saw or expected.
The idea was always they go up the stairs to try and get at our heart because that's what their AI wants to do. And then the hatches would keep them in place.
They do that to some extent and then fall onto the spikes, which I guess is what the spikes are designed for. But they get to that height and then they just want to sit and beat on the walls. Is that the design? Is that what it's... Because they're not as interested...
No.
Like, this row of spikes is gone and they're still beating on that outer wall. Which is a hell of a lot better than beating on the platform.
Right.
No, they're supposed to, like, jump and try to get us, fall down, and then try to come back up around. Sort of deal.
You're getting soaked in spit tonight, that's for sure.
Yeah.
This is starting to feel like that cube test I just shot a couple weeks ago.
It's a normal Friday night for Duel, though.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yes, we're here every Friday night.
Wait, I have a life? No,
COVID sucks.
Yeah, COVID's the reason we're playing video games on a Friday night. Oh boy, fuck COVID.
Not supposed to say the quiet part out loud.
You know, I would like to commend him for putting in bird protection.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nev's a big fan of protection.
At least from birds.
Yeah, to each their own. He's a furry, not a feathery. I don't know if that's...
They're called avians.
Ah, fuck.
Things we didn't want to know for 500.
I can't believe he just actually'd us on furry nomenclature.
Really, you can't?
They can't believe you just set yourself up for it.
Remember, if it's your kink, we shame.
Keep that shit in your pants, yo. You know, we could make a series out of that. Just be Akiva shaking his head in any game Nev plays.
Kiva strolls through Nev's Steam ownership lists.
Mine's fairly bland.
Japanese.
Yeah, it's Jules you have to watch out for.
Dating sims
It's
as
the,
far as I can see.
The what you run into is the 10,000 hours. Some bullshit ass game that shouldn't be played for 10,000 hours.
Oh, never win the chat. I love you.
I thought you were talking about American Truck Simulator, but that too.
Honk honk. I love you.
That's my
No,
tailpipe.
Pa, I love him.
Semi-tractors don't have tailpipes.
No, but Nev puts one in. For personal
He's
use.
just up top. Doesn't matter to him. This tailpipe is for recreational purposes.
I've been freed.
Oh, hey, I need a heal.
How did you get out?
X fisted me.
Yeah.
I rolled out the side.
They're doing a good job of congregating now.
You know, as far as the pathing goes, like, they're beating the shit out of this place, but they're beating the shit out of the outer wall, and they really are piling up in huge stacks.
Not over here.
Oh, are they beating the pillar over here?
Yep.
That's great. Well, other than the part where Nev is failing to kill them, I think it's doing real well.
Typical Friday night.
Hey-o. I'm getting a lot of mileage out of grenades on this build.
Yeah.
I'm glad I left you grenade holes.
Buy a girl dinner
Joke
first,
there.
jeez.
Dollar menu at McDonald's.
Dun, 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 copyright claim.
That was my bad. I did it. I'm on the list. I'm on the list. Wait, it wasn't me. It was Blundy.
I
Shut
said
up, Blundy, at
boomerns.
the demo.
From point blank range, no less.
To be fair, there was like 4 Zeds in front of the demo who happened to push them out of the way right as I fired. I did not see the demo at the time.
Hey,
It's like a very slow motion. No. And Blundy's like, yes.
Blundy doesn't take no for an answer.
No.
Blundy has consent issues.
Yeah, the issue is consent.
What are they beating on over there? Dude, are
The
you
hatch?
over there? No?
I was.
What the fuck are they doing over here?
No,
Well,
I
that's 'cause-
am.
That's because I went out there. I came back here, back inside.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're very interested in that hatch now.
They're
God.
beelining out for the hatch cover.
I haven't seen him
Yeah,
go
well,
after an escape hatch in a very long time.
I might have made it too close. I might have been a little lazy with it.
Well, I give him something to do now.
I'm gonna lie,
We may have a
behind us.
we may have an Alamo moment here in a minute. Yeah, they are just straight beelining for that thing. No wonder. Can I hit it from here?
We're gonna go with a no on that one. Yeah, that really fucked with their pathing. Me just opening that and going down it. It's just interesting that I could show them a path.
It doesn't make
Here's a question. Did you remember to close the door?
Yeah, no, I definitely did. I mean,
Okay.
maybe go double check, but I
It was
looked at,
closed when I went over there.
Everybody in a conga line.
Yeah, you might have like left a breadcrumb trail for their AI to follow.
This is an interesting effect, though. If you could design something like this where it somehow baited them this far away from you and then set off with like explosives and a sniper rifle or
Yeah.
5, you know, like this is an interesting mechanic that's kind of shaking out here because they're actively fleeing from us. Like we can just sit here and
Right?
shoot them in the back. Yeah, I think the Horde Knight just wrapped. Let me go see.
You're
what
welcome,
they
guys.
did out here. Did they actually make progress? Well, they got that hatch down to about a third. So they were working on it. This corner got beat to shit. And this outer wall got beat to shit. This door is slightly less beat to shit. This one's tore up. This one is really tore up.
Most of the hatches are actually intact.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, I guess you're right there. You shut a lot of them. That saved a few. A couple of these ones are gone. Yeah, they're intact. They didn't do a whole lot. You know, I'm not sure that this is a mechanic that works anymore. The
Right.
center
Yeah,
cage is, you know, obviously spit damage galore, but none of it looks like it's too catastrophic.
Yeah, I think their AI is actually seeing the hatches as an obstacle now.
Yeah, they weren't behaving with that in the way that that demo video, demonstration led us to believe at all. So that's definitely something that has been changed.
Yeah.
Durability.
Weird.
It's beat up. It's not catastrophic. The stuff that got beat up is a lot of it's the outer wall. The inner pillar here took some damage. I suspect a lot of that is spit. They were doing some wailing on it, but nothing terrible. That wasn't going to come down anytime soon. The outer wall is beat up. a lot of those spikes are gone. I think this design, the outer wall, is kind of a bait thing to begin with, though, so it's kind of designed to take a hit, but like X said, this whole thing is just kind of strange, the way they behaved here tonight. I
give it like a C, C minus.
Yeah, I don't really want to go any higher
than
average on here, just because I can't explain some of what happened. And it was getting beat up. Z control, God. So Duel using the escape hatch clearly did something. They were real interested in that after the war, and that might be, like Davian said, part of it might be that he built it too close. Standing out here and looking at the base, I'm inclined to think that that's actually probably a possibility. So that's kind of on us. The Zeds, before that started, they were in here. They weren't behaving as expected.
Yeah.
Right. So I kind of just want to have it was just sort of a question mark on Zed control. They weren't free-ranging it, but they were kind of doing whatever the hell they wanted once they got inside this box. It was strange.
I'd say that'd fall in like a C minus too, personally. It's like they're not free range like you said, but they're definitely just kind of wandering around. They're in a cage. They're contained, but there's nothing else about it.
They were most interested in just wailing on the walls near these 4 entryways.
And like a dude in a prison cell.
That was their predominant preoccupation, is they'd come in here, they'd hit the hatch, they'd either wander into the spikes, and even when the spikes were gone, I would watch some of them, they would fall down into this bit between the pillar and the stairs, and then still run back out here and beat on these outer walls.
Yep.
So it's some sort of pathing mechanic. It's kind of strange one. It certainly isn't, a lockdown controlled pathing, but it's not a fail. So I think, probably a C. It's weird. This base is defying expectations in a couple of different ways.
Yeah, and Duel pulling them out there, I'm not sure if that made it worse or improved their pathing.
I think that probably saved some of the base in durability because they were so busy fucking around in that field, like we were saying. We just had a straight single file Congo line heading out to that hatch. We could just shoot them in the back for the entire evening. That was actually kind of an interesting. I'm wondering if we could do something to exploit that in a different build.
Yeah.
Now, danger for this one. Loses a mark, I think, on Bird and Cop Spit. I was getting fairly beat up all night long on the Spit, but beyond that, there was no real threat. The demo that popped inside, we had one go off on the inside. That wasn't a threat to us. None of them were, capable of beating on us or anything. So that's maybe a B. I don't have any huge complaints. The big thing is it's just the bird spit. It was a high volume bird spit night, and that's going to happen when your sort of defense here is just iron bars. All of that spit gets right through it. Resources used was obviously not applicable. There's nothing in here. All right, ammunition for the evening. I used 1,180 rounds. Duel?
1434.
Davian?
2395.
Nev?
3,072.
And X?
973. How the hell am I the lowest?
That might be the first time that's ever happened. That gives us a grand total of 9,054 rounds for the evening, which on our grading scale is a B.
Just barely?
Just barely. It's a low B. And I feel like it's higher than this base needed to be. I think some of that comes into play with the fact that the hatch thing wasn't working as smoothly as it could have, so they weren't sort of lining up the headshots and the stationary targets that this had sort of promised. But again, we're not 100% sure if that's because that behavior has been changed recently or what, but that's worse than I expected here based on what we saw in the demonstration. Cheese! I don't think this is cheesy. Now, whether or not it would be cheesy if this hatch mechanic had worked, that might be a different story, but those hatches didn't do shit.
I think that if we base it on the idea, it is a little cheesy trying to game a mechanic. Now, just because the mechanic didn't work doesn't mean that it wasn't a cheese mechanic.
I'm personally going to probably go craft singles on this. It wants to be cheese. It's not really cheese, but it's trying its damnedest.
Yeah, I think that's pretty appropriate. It's desperately trying to convince the world it's cheese, but it is definitely not cheese. So craft singles.
A part of me wants to introduce curds and whey it really was supposed to be cheese, but something went wrong.
Quite a picture, Little Miss Muffet.
It's butter. It's definitely a dairy product.
Chance to patch. I think it already has been. Yeah, I think they got it. I think that the Fun Pimps got to this before we did.
So Chance to patch is moot.
Yeah, moot / probably. Yeah. Final grade. This is a weird one. Now, I don't think the devs have done the concept any favors. Clearly, they have tinkered with this somewhat. Durability was, cheese was, control and ammo were all kind of, really, my vote for final grade is just kind of a shrug emote. It's a thing. It worked, sort of, but I don't know if I would rush out to build this, but it didn't fail.
When it comes right down to it, what it is the block.
Yeah.
I mean, it's staged through concrete. It's not steel, but it's still...
It's a different take on the block.
Yeah.
It's just a durability test.
Yeah.
I'm willing to give it, like, the most solid C in history. This is a thing that passed and wasn't in danger of failing.
Very solid gold star C. It is here, and we
Yor
survived.
did it.
Yor did it. Boy, it is what it is. It didn't fail. We appreciate the build suggestion. Like I said, Sal, I think they beat you to this one on the patching, but it certainly isn't bad. I'm not going to talk shit about this because we're here, we're alive. It's a fairly straightforward repair job. Whether or not I would, rush to build this myself is another question, but I think that may be more what the devs have done behind you than what you actually designed. Coming up next week, I think, and it's an appropriate thing for this time of year too, and if you've been watching any of our recent videos, I'm taking all these motherfuckers to church. This group needs a little bit of Jesus. So we're going to church.
Now I gotta rebuild the cross.
I like that you hacked it out and are only now feeling guilty. I'm going to call your very Irish Catholic mother and tell her what you did.
Are you going to call her old again?
Maybe.
Like you did to her face?
She kind of tricked me into that. That wasn't fair.
That old calling old?
Oh.
We were in college at the time, so he was a little younger.
It was too many years ago. Now I'm sad.
He was only 45.
You know what? On that note, I gotta go take my Geritol and hand out some Werther's Originals. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you next time.